What is up, my YouTube family? It's your favorite hip hop healer, Queen McGee, and I am back with another video. It is 2022, y'all. We're here. It's a new year. I have so much I want to share. This video is just going to be about encouraging you guys to try something new for the new year, tell you guys what I'm doing, what videos that are about to come out for the new year, and we're just going to rap for a few minutes, okay? So here's the deal. Back in October, no, I'm sorry, let me go back. Last year, around June, I started a language course, and so I was learning how to speak Spanish, okay? And then at some point, I was like, I, although Spanish is widely used where I am, I want to learn French because most of the people that I know and the love in my life speaks French. So I need to learn French, and it'll be easier because I'll be able to speak that language back to them and they'll be able to speak it to me, and so it'll be easier versus using Spanish out in the real world. Using Spanish in my and using French in my real world makes more sense, if that makes sense. And it's easier to learn a language when you're using it every day versus just learning it and using it as far as to academics and all of that language and all that, and then going out into the real world to use it. But to use it in your everyday life and also use it in the real world, it's just easier to learn. So I thought that my old tongue could not roll my R's, and I had a hard time trying to loosen up my thick American tongue. The African American tongue is very thick because it wants to revert to its African ways. Like, it wants to do a little bit of clicking. It wants to do a bit of, because I think that is, genetically ingrained in us, going way, way back. So I don't think we've ever lost our African tongue, even though we've adapted new ways being here in the Americas. I truly, truly believe that the African American experience we did not lose our African tongue. In fact, some linguists would argue that a lot of what we call ebonics is actually still a lot of words that we use every day are still African in nature. So loosening up my tongue a little bit so it can become fluent in another language outside of my African one or my American one, is it was extremely difficult under the Spanish. But so I thought, well, when I go from the Spanish language and I transition over to French, maybe it'll be easier. But what I didn't know is that because people I knew were already using the language, it was easier because I had been hearing certain things. I had been hearing Jador. I've been, Jador. I've been hearing that love. Oh, je suis désolé, je suis désolé, je suis désolé, oh, sweet désolé. I've been hearing that, just and ça va, ça va, ça va. I've been hearing that, so it made more sense for me to transition from Spanish to French because the people that I love are already using that, and so I can have conversations, and it'll be easier to commit to memory, and I can use my tongue. I can learn how to because I'm using it every day. So if you haven't done anything for the new year as far as to leveling yourself up as a woman or just evolving yourself, I like to call it evolving yourself and refining yourself as a woman. I talk about this a lot, that it's important to learn a new language, learn a language or get proficient in a language, or even if you aren't fluent in it, just kind of, even when you're doing the studies. And for me, what was amazing in French is learning the masculine and feminine parts of the language was like mind blowing to me. The masculine part of that, and what does and it really truly is a masculine and a feminine in language. And I was just like, hold on, I've been doing all this masculine and feminine research, and tell me that there's masculine and feminine in language. Well, I knew that about Spanish language, and I knew that about it's just a universal thing to have that, masculine and feminine in language. And I think that's beautiful. So if you haven't done anything to help refine yourself this year, I would say try learning a new language. There's apps out there that you can download where you do it. I get a reminder every day. It says time to learn. So at my 11 o'clock, if you try to call me and it's 11 and 1, okay, 4 days a week, I am learning 11 to 1. My thing will come on my phone. It'll say time to learn. I'll take my class. I'll do my tests and my studies, and then I'm off. And for the rest of the day, my brain is operating at a different frequency because I challenged it. I challenged it with something new. So I'm going to challenge you to do that. Try a new language, okay? So And yes, Wi-Fi is French for Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. Oh, Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi? Listen, my tongue is still very thick and it's going to take me some time to be able to get the accent correct. But that's what learning is all about, and in training and allowing yourself to be fluent and transitioning back and forth, to your English tongue, your African tongue and your French tongue. Being able to do that is fantastic. And I enjoy listening to a bilingual woman. There's something amazing about listening to a woman whose tongue is flexible enough to be able to speak multiple languages. And of course, men as well, but I'm speaking, of course, we know this is a feminine channel, right? So I'm speaking about listening to a woman who is bilingual. It's mesmerizing. It's mesmerizing, because there's a level of discipline required to be able to do that. And maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just an old fogey, okay, that I find discipline attractive. But anybody who can get something done, that is attractive to me. If you are a disciplined person, if you are working on your goals, if you are, making something shake for yourself and your focus, that is extremely attractive to me. And I even write about that in my books. Even the way I positioned Elder Eden, in the book, and that's a character in the book. How disciplined she is. She's not moved by outside fluent influences. She's very structured. And it's funny. And Keita, if you're watching this video, this is for you. You and I were on the phone talking the other day, and I said something about I don't take phone calls after 10 o'clock, and you said, "Girl, I'm not that rigid. You can call me whenever." And it didn't hit me until after the phone call. I hung up with you. I called a friend of mine. I said, "Do you think I'm rigid?" And she was like, "Heck yes. Yes, absolutely you're rigid." That 5 a.m. wake up, 5 a.m. prayer time, 6 a.m. breakfast, 6:45, workout and run. You're very rigid. And I'm like, I never knew I was rigid. In my mind, I thought I was disciplined, but discipline can be seen as rigid if there's no flexibility in it. So anyway, I find rigid people extremely disciplined and also very sexy. So if you are a bilingual woman and you're watching this, I'm going to say kudos to you, mamacita. Okay, it's just a beautiful thing. And if you're not fluent in another language and you're trying, kudos to you, so that you can get your tongue to exercise. And it's not even just about getting your tongue to exercise and to learn something new so you can speak and so that you can be fluent in all of those things. It's so that you can so that your mind can expand, so that your understanding of the world can expand. And I'm a big advocate that understanding matters, right? I can have compassion about something or a particular topic once I understand it, right? So with understanding comes compassion and empathy and all of those human emotions. But I have to explore that first, right? I have to explore it. And a lot of us, we don't like to explore. We're like, this is my little niche here. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is how we do it. And this is how we've always done it. And so it's going to be. And so we're not able to sympathize with our brothers and sisters across the pond or someone over there, because we don't understand the culture. So I just think expanding yourself in language is just one way, but also getting new friends from different cultures. Do you have Indian friends? Do you have Mexican friends? Do you have expanding yourself so that you can then get in contact with their culture? My roommate for a couple of years, Rachana. Hey, Rachana. Just seeing her how she performs puja in the morning. And puja is a prayer ritual, and also when she would give me things, here's a Ganesh. She gave me the Ganesh, and I'm like, oh, this is a beautiful statue. I know this is Ganesh, and then she gets to explain it to me. But having friends like that and exploring the world outside of your world is a form of expansion, and it just makes you that much more refined as a woman. It's important, extremely important. So outside of language, finding new friends, finding a new sport, allowing your tongue to explore, find yourself a buddy partner, someone who's willing to do that exploring with you if you can't do it yourself. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this, honey. Let me tell you, I, okay, I am the ultimate old lady, and when I say that is like, I know I'm from some sort of time zone or, the wrong time. I enjoy getting dressed for bed. Okay. It's kind of like, the queen is coming, the queen is coming, the queen is coming, the queen is coming. Nobody's saying that, but in my mind, the queen is coming. That is how I'm approaching this whole ritual of going to bed, resting in my feminine every night. And so I want to be able to feel the silks on my skin or the satin on my skin. I want to feel that when I'm in the bed, and I want to make sure that if I am being touched while I'm in the bed, that there's nothing hard and rough, but that there's something soft because I'm a woman and squeezing. I want to smell inviting. I want to feel inviting. And when I go to sleep and I rest in that, when I awake, and I appear at the mirror, I'm not so jolted by, oh, you had a harsh night. No, I had a fantastic night, darling. I'm a woman. So that memory of going to bed feeling like a woman, resting in your femininity, and then waking up and not feeling it's an easier transition from night to day, because you set the stage that night, and then when you awake in the morning, then you have your morning rituals to prepare you. So that's something that I want to tell women to do too, is just take a look at your nightgowns, your night clothes, and what you go to bed in. And maybe, like I said, please forgive me, maybe I'm just an old fogey. Maybe it's just me, but I believe that women should have bedtime wear. Bedtime wear. And I'm not saying that everything has to be lingerie, because lingerie has its place. I'm talking about sleepwear. Feminine sleepwear. That's not necessarily lingerie. And I wish I could show it to you guys, but I don't want to show my things on camera. So I'm just going to try to give you a visualization. um Even if you were to have on a two-piece set, okay, you can have on a two-piece set, a two-piece satin set with your initials on it, for me it will be KHM, KHM, and engraved right here. So when I look in the mirror, I feel like somebody, I feel like somebody. And you can go online, you can go to Amazon, and you can, let me tell you, I got a set for literally $49 for the top and the bottom and the engraving. Get your name engraved on it so it feels like it's something. Fold them up, have a drawer specifically for your nighttime pajamas. Put your pochettes or your sachets inside of the drawer so that it smells good. Line your drawers with drawer liners. And like I said, this, perhaps I'm just an old woman and really old, but this is what makes me feel good. Because if I'm lounging around and my sweat sauce and my hoodies and which I do have, don't get it twisted, I do have my hoodies. I'm talking about, just if I'm doing this on a daily, I've trained myself to feel that way and to be that way, versus when I am being aware of what I'm putting on my body, what my body smells like, what I feel like, what I'm wearing. When I'm aware, then it makes me feel better, right? It makes me feel better. So that's just something I want to share with you guys, is that if you don't have a set of to bed nighttime clothes, I challenge you, go find something where you can get a two-piece set, shorts or pants, or a robe or something that is specific to you. Get your initials engraved on it. um, get yours and your husband's, if you have your husband, get your husband a robe, get his initial on it, get yours and your initial on it, so that you guys can feel together. You can feel a sense of royalty. And that's what I really want to bring, even with the book. um Even with the book, I want to bring back a sense of royalty to relationships that we somehow lost. We're just out here willy-nilly, not feeling the sacred bond with one another, because we don't have any rituals and culture that makes us feel that way. But we can start with the small things. We can start with making sure that our husband has you know his robe, and wifey has her robe. And even if you have wifey on it and husband on it, that's fine. But there needs to be a sense of royalty inside of the household. And then the kids will pick up on that sense of royalty. And then when you walk out into the world, it's like, hey, here we are, world, here we are. We have arrived. There's a sense of pride in that you have when you know that you are somebody. Anyway, those are my tips for leveling up in 2022. I hope some of it worked for you. And until next time, be empowered, be inspired, and be well. Later, guys.